Ladies and gentlemen, welcome! We're back with our second series of the day here in ESL 1 SEA Qualifiers for Katowice. So, should be a pretty good one as well. PG Barracx versus 496 Vikings. So we've seen the Barracx play in the open qualifiers. They've looked pretty good. And I've also seen 496 Vikings on the field. So let's actually get right into the draft now. There we go, that's the right scene. So should be a pretty good matchup here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see this even go to a game 3, so we'll find out.
I mean, we casted Barracx or Barracx the other day, 496 Vikings. I can't say I know too much about,
5
but
seconds remaining.
It's very standard so far in the draft at least. Clockwork Shadow Shaman. Nyx, I guess, is not too common nowadays.
Yeah, even for Barracx, like they've played a big variety of heroes, but Nyx or Ancient Apparition even aren't really in that for... actually, Ancient Apparition, they played that in some open qualifier just yesterday.
But it's not two heroes that are very meta right now. It's usually like the Clockwork Bounty and a little bit Earth Speed and Night Stalker and this stuff.
5 seconds
and position 5s are usually Shadow Shaman Bane, Hero, Shadow Demon, or these things. But it's fun to see some heroes that aren't super popular.
Yeah. Like there was a phase when Nyx Assassin was like picked up very often. Ancient Apparition as well, for some teams or for different regions even. Like I do want to say I've seen a lot of it in CIS. It's coming out not just as a counter to things, but also as a combo with heroes like Faceless Void or something like that. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see that picked up later in a draft now. I mean, and also it is pretty good combo, right? You have the Nyx Assassin to scout out with Vendetta. You have the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, just add any sort of extra bit of damage, perhaps on top of that, and then you can even get kill tankier targets very easily. I mean, these two heroes alone will certainly be enough to kill the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, for sure.
5
and
seconds
yeah, like you talked
remaining.
about, there's probably a very big chance of picking up something like CK is very common popular with the AA. Void is too good as well. And there's other heroes that are just... There's also possibility for just an AoE lineup such as... I mean, they're pretty uncommon nowadays, but Nature's Prophet and Spectre, or Global I should say. Or even Venno AA is also a very popular combination. However, Venno is not a very popular hero nowadays.
Yeah, I remember those days though. Venno AA, both of these, it was... I don't want to say cancer, but that's really what it was. Like, both these ultimates hit you and you already know, alright, we're freaking screwed, we lost the team fight now. And then you just slowly take out, there's nothing you can really do against it, unless you have like multiple pipes even. But yeah, as I said, not necessarily all that popular these days, even though Venomancer
10 seconds remaining.
kind of like the hero now. If you play around the wards, you get the Venomous Gale cooldown as well as a talent.
Remaining.
And then eventually you get this talent that plants 2 extra wards for every hero you hit with that, and then it actually gets to a lot of wards very quickly with that, which is really good for high ground defense or attack even.
I mean, I don't think Venno is particularly dead either. I think the hero is playable. It's just that it's kind of fallen out of the meta, and it tends to happen.
10 seconds remaining.
But we'll see what they decide to choose. For now, it's Vikings' turn to
5
pick.
seconds remaining.
And I think like Venomancer, the problem is that this right click thing has been taken away from him for the most part.
Yeah.
So don't have that extra bit of the extra way to take to play that hero. So it's all just the ward cinematic damage again.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah,
And in that sense, there are other heroes that offer
5
more in
seconds
general,
remaining.
offer a broader scope and more flexibility in games, I guess.
Yeah, now it's gonna be fun, interesting to see what Barracx do. If they decide to pick a hero that counters Viper, or if they just wanna show off their offlane.
Radiant team pick.
Which would be my... Okay, so they go Queen
of
into Viper, which is a little bit interesting.
Yeah, we've seen that matchup the other way around earlier. Queen of Pain picked up in the first phase, and then the Viper picked up as a response. So that is a bit odd indeed. Makes me think if they just want to try and throw a
10
curveball
seconds
later.
remaining.
Throw the Nyx in the 4 role, Queen of Pain in the offlane position.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that could be something, but to be fair, the game we saw earlier, the Queen got really destroyed, and I don't think necessarily that's how the lane should go. I think Queen is somewhat okay against Viper. Like, she can do fine. She's not supposed to win the lane, but she's supposed to be okay. But however, I'm a little bit surprised that they picked Queen into Viper, because Queen is usually here that you want to win your lane with, and you can't really win as Queen against Viper.
You're not just playing against Viper, right? You're also playing against either Clockwork or Shadow Shaman, at least in the first couple of minutes. That might be enough to just tilt the balance in favor of Viper. It feels like even just one level ahead, that might make a big difference. Or just a couple of last hits ahead.
That is true.
We'll see what the solution is to this, because maybe they just figure, alright, we're really confident in our Queen of Pain player, and confident that he'll be able to handle that and then still have an impact.
Like, Queen is a very high mobility, so maybe they just like to play around that. I just want to point out that I think that CK is an amazing pick right now. It's really good against Viper, it's really good against Doom, and they have no AoE clear whatsoever. It also fits very well with AA.
Oh yeah. That's the other thing. Like, if you just look at Barracx's lineup,
10 seconds remaining.
just discounting the Viper and everything else, like, there's a lot of synergy
5 seconds remaining.
going into this pick-off style from the Queen of Pain also added on top of that, because you do have that burst damage, right? Nix Assassin Scouts, Queen of Pain bursts something down, now the Chaos Knight, as you were mentioning, to fix these issues up against the Viper. The Doom is an issue for any hero, really, if they find a CK, obviously, with the ultimate. It makes it a lot easier to bring him down,
10 seconds
but obviously also Queen of Pain gonna be main target for that, but
5 seconds remaining.
The thing with the CK versus Doom is that it's basically who finds each other first. If CK is allowed to get off his Phantasm and maybe kill a hero off, then, you know, you're kind of happy. Even if you get Doomed off, you can still send in your illusion and stuff. But if Doom finds him before he is allowed to do Phantom, it's of course a counter. So it's like, it's a little bit of on and off there.
Also gotta wonder how the lane is gonna work out, because Doom, like, if he gets his levels into the Infernal Blade, that is a ridiculous amount of damage up against a strength hero like a CK.
That is for sure. And with a Clockwork and even potentially a Shadow Shaman rotating over, that could be a lot of pressure. But however, CKA and potential Nyx, that's a triple stun, and it's a very, very, very strong lane. So Doom will have to be careful, especially if he's alone there.
Yeah.
Even against only A, CK, they have a lot of kill potential, I think.
Yeah. But just between Cold Feet and Chilling Touch as well, just adding a bit of extra damage might be enough to chew through Doom, because he isn't actually all that tanky early on. He doesn't have multiple points in the Scorched Earth and or like a good creep to work with.
Yeah, and what used to be the counter to Doom was minus armor. Like, Slaughter was really good, and CK also provides a little bit of minus armor, so that's why also one of the benefits. You got Tidehunter, which in my opinion is like one of the heroes that he's one of the offlaners that feels okay to play against Shadow Shaman, because you can break the shackle early if you're lucky with the proc of your Kraken Shell.
Yeah.
There's no offlane I like to play against Shadow Shaman, except for maybe Nature's Prophet or Enchantress, perhaps.
5 seconds remaining.
So I can get that pick. It's
choose your hero.
They go with Medusa. So like, because Tidehunter, why it's a fine pick is because he's gonna do well against anything that isn't Razer, and Razer was banned, and Ursa perhaps, but Ursa is so unconventional these days.
Yeah, it's just a very stable pick. And if you really get bullied out, you can still go back into the jungle if you just have a couple of levels to work with. Even you can start to stack up some ancients for yourself as well. But I think you need like at least level 4 or 5 to farm those up efficiently and without dying.
And put on here the Medusa pick. Other than the fact that Medusa is just kind of a popular hero, maybe not so much these days, but he was really popular before and still isn't a bad hero. It's a big counter to CK. If you get the Aghanim Scepter, you just instantly kill the illusions with the snake.
Oh yeah. I have seen Medusa just skip that though, even like up against CK sometimes. It just really depends on how much money you get in early and how much of a threat the CK actually becomes.
Yeah.
Because having a Mystic Snake is obviously great, but to get out these get down these illusions. But if you manage to just take team fights around your ultimate anyway, then that's basically the same effect, right?
Yeah. Like, you don't need the Aghanim Scepter, but it's a nice thing to have, but mainly the ultimate, Like, Medusa is just a very strong hero against CK. And I really like the pick since, like we talked about, they really had nothing against illusions, except for their last pick. So they picked a hero that is a hard counter to the illusions, which I think definitely was the right idea.
They needed something like that for sure. It wasn't the Medusa, maybe something like an OD. Generally also pretty decent here for a long time. The extra damage up against the illusions from the orb, but now a bit of an issue for the Viper, disconnecting. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
With that said, I'm not sure what lineup I really favor. I like this Trident for Barracx and stuff, but I feel like this Queen versus Viper doesn't feel that good, and it feels... I'm not sure. I can't really decide what I feel about these lineups. I think it's gonna come down to just play.
Yeah. I feel like the first couple of minutes are gonna be decisive, because if Viper should be doing alright in mid in any case. If he gets some help, you might even just completely dominate the Queen of Pain like we saw before. If top lane is passive enough that the Doom gets a couple of levels and is not completely zoned out or dies even, then you can also count it as a win for the Vikings.
Yeah, for sure. I think that definitely Barracx, they need to keep the tempo kind of high, because if this... first of all, they need to make sure that their Queen doesn't lose mid that hard. And then, if this Medusa just gets to AFK farm and get whatever she wants, then CK won't really be able to play this game, because she will have either she'll have her ultimate, or she'll just have a lot of items. And we know always how hard it is to deal with a really fat Medusa.
Oh yeah. Gonna come down to momentum. Barracx probably on the clock here, because when it comes to super late game or ultra late game, however you want to call it, I don't really actually see them winning this, because then you're running out of damage dealers. Like Queen of Pain, you can kind of itemize towards some sort of right-click build, but you're never going to be super tanky. And as you said, right, Chaos Knight is not as easy to play in late game up against Medusa as you would perhaps maybe be against some other late game carries like that.
The good thing they have for late game is that they have potential for double Ravage, like a refresher, and Ravage is always a really good tool late game.
Yeah.
But I agree that I think late game is Vikings favored. Although it's not to the extent that it's gonna be impossible for Barracx, but
30 seconds.
It's always the thing, like with the Chaos Knight and the Medusa.
Yeah, it's it's hard to say, really.
Yeah, it really comes down to who finds who first. Like if a Medusa is chain locked down, is chain stunned, and the CK is on top of her with Phantasm, she dies very quickly too, just like a lot of other heroes, right? Especially if he ends up going for some sort of diffusal blade. Haven't seen that build in a long time though, on the CK in particular.
No. People like to get strength items instead.
The battle begins.
Alright, game number 1 of a best of 3, again an elimination series. The loser of this best of 3 will drop out, and the winner will move on in ESL 1 Katowice Qualifiers. And they'll actually play up against Fnatic. That's going to be interesting as well going forward, but for now we have a bit of a thing set up in mid. Red on the Clockwork, as well as Xiao Shi, we call him, on the Doom. They want to wrap around mid here onto the Queen of Pain. No point put into anything just yet from Shinem, so he does have the option to go for Wings. So they're hoping to maybe see some sort of Scream of Pain, or perhaps even Shadow Strike coming out.
Yeah. And Barracx did go for an aggressive lane, which means that Medusa was like, oh, I don't want to be here. So she did lane swap, but she missed about a creep wave, so it's a small win for Barracx, but a win nonetheless.
Yep. It's a little starting to get some of that experience here. Doom hasn't made the counter rotation just yet. Instead, it's actually a Clockwork who's picking up the
free roll. He will have to be careful here.
Yeah. Something that we haven't actually considered, isn't it? Like Doom and anything other than the offlane roll.
Joker's going to die bottom now, I think.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Full free roll proc, first blood taken by Rams on the Chaos Knight. That is the ideal situation.
Yeah, just the Superstar we were talking about. There's really not a lot of heroes that can survive that kind of stun and lockdown and everything.
And it's off.
Damage.
That's off to a good start. Shinem actually did go for the Shadow Strike. Across the skin, level 2 now on the Viper. He's not gonna be making a lot of use of that, one would think. I mean, look at this now. He's dropping lower and lower, and he can't even use the self.
He's kind
For a long
of dying
time.
from his own dagger.
Yeah.
Almost. Actually, yeah, he was 2 ticks away from dying.
Holy hell.
I don't think he's gonna use that Shadow Strike again.
Yeah. And right now, they're focusing a lot on the bottom lane. Next Assassin, there's only so much you can do up against the Viper too at this stage even, but so instead they're gonna try get some more kills down here, and no, Cogs not gonna help against the stun. Cold Feet will proc, a couple extra right clicks.
He's been
Should be
quite
enough eventually
tanky,
here, yeah. But it
Surprising.
is Rutger who takes it himself with the mana burn.
I think they're quite happy with this though, because I guess they figured that Ty would have a hard time just going off lane normally, because against Medusa, which is a range hero, because Tide is not very good. Like, he wants to meet these melee heroes and just kind of become the bully. But against the Medusa Shadow Shaman lane, it's hard to be that. So at least they give him the safe lane, which gonna not necessarily make him win the lane, but he's gonna get more out of it. And this CK trial lane, they're just fine with wherever they are. Like, anyone who fights them are gonna die.
Yeah. Still basically free farming, right? I mean, CS still a bit of a differential here, but he also has a lot of creeps that he has yet to hit.
Yeah.
So it's not actually as crazy. So that's very even, of course, as you said, the kills. 1 kill, 1 assist already on the clockwork. So this is working out well. So it's only really this mid lane. Viper continuing to just go ham. 16 and 30 denies. It's probably more significant even than last advantage. Because that starts to add up. It's almost a full level ahead now.
Yeah, and
And
he
the
still
Shadow
has
Strike
still
is
Shadow, and I'm not sure if it's worth it, because I think actually
really
by
not.
now
Look at
he's
this. Hey. Doesn't even have region to work with at this point. He has to go back to something. We will fight that. Alright, he does fall up top. What the hell?
Oh, now we're getting kills everywhere. This is
actually
SCA after all.
I have to get back into it. Still a little bit tired because we didn't get too much sleep tonight.
They managed to kill Tide on the top lane, and then they also get the Clockwork on the bottom. However, Clockwork did get a counter kill on AA, so
Yeah.
they're not overly sad with that, I think.
Got it after.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
died
just
from they
after,
dove the
okay.
tower. The AA was like in the tower
Oh,
for
yeah.
some reason.
At the very least, Clockwork doesn't get the experience on that. So God.
And something interesting to point out is that this Queen is actually going 2 points in dagger. But that might lead to a kill now here on Viper.
They're going ham,
Or-
but there's still the Doom here. Running in fast, it's a 1-for-1 trade. There's now Magical also roaming around the Shackles, of course. Cancelled by the Spy Carapace, the old classic.
Yep, indeed.
You'd figure it'd be easy to counter, or easy to stop casting, but it's... I actually see it cancelled like that more often than not.
Yeah, you kind of... I think he tried to do it as soon as the Carapace ended, but he just mistimed it a little bit, so
Yeah.
instead it looks foolish.
Yeah. Oh well. Missing out on perhaps an extra kill, but yeah, I mean... They got the kill on Viper, but still lose the Queen of Pain, so... How has that really changed the dynamic in his lane?
No, Queen is starting to actually get some CS. She's not falling... She's still about 10 CS behind, so she's managing somewhat, but it's not good.
Yeah.
She's definitely still losing. And I'm a bit curious that he did go 2 points in Shadow Strike, which it is the slow is kind of good, because Viper is a slow hero just by default, so the Shadow Strike slow is annoying for him. But you can't really use it as a harass tool. You can kind of use it to when your team is coming, like they are now. They're currently smoking on him, so...
Yeah. Magical is around here. Can maybe try and help out Shackles on the Queen of Pain. Then some extra right coming from there. The Cold Feet will still proc the kill. Not really happening though. Look at this. The stick charge is turning things around for Viper. Throws down the ultimate off the bridge. He will still end up falling, but what cost? 2-for-1 trade. Make it perhaps a 3-for-1 with the root coming through. Doom with the right creep for the job out of that 4 position. Having an extra bit of lockdown from the ensnare and the damage from the Infernal Blade is... I gotta question this. Keep going on Viper like that.
I think right now though, before Viper has like any major items, he only has an Aquila and a Raindrop and a stick, which isn't only, by the way.
Yeah.
But this is when you can abuse Viper and hopefully
bottom
kill him.
tower is
However,
under attack.
Magical, the Shadow Shaman, he was either he read that movement or he was just lucky, but he was there anyways.
Yep.
Because if he wasn't there, that Viper is gonna die for sure. But just good execution from the Vikings to be ready for that gank. And then instead it becomes really bad.
Yeah.
Radiant's top
Bottom
tower
lane, they're gonna
is
go
under
as well
attack.
again. 2-second stun, follow from Rish here. Easy kill on Clockwork, at the same time Doom trying to trade for the Ancient Apparition, but actually does get dragged back into the cold feed to proc. It's so many good combos. Not just with the Nyx, but also just with the CK himself. Maxed out that reality rift, so 700 range, pretty decent at the same time. Tidehunter does actually end up dropping up top. A little bit off the beaten path there.
Tidehunter does, he is getting a fair amount of CS though, but just like Clockwork he's kind of feeding, but Clockwork is
Dyer's
very
top
unhappy
tower is
Clockwork
under
right now.
attack.
Oh yeah.
He's not only is he
Dire's
feeding, he's not really
structures
getting
are
CS
fortified.
either.
He's still rather close to level 6 at the very least, so once that comes out, maybe start
That
the
is
roam,
true.
try and find something else.
Clockwork isn't a hero that necessarily needs a lot of items.
I think who are you ganking? Queen of Pain should always be able to blink out. At the same time, with the Viper and as strong as he is, that little bit of a stun from the cogs and maybe just a pushback, or the stun from the hook shot and maybe a pushback from the cogs might be enough for Viper to just get the kill very easily. Certainly with the DD rune that he's holding onto right now.
Clockwork is getting a kill on A now though, on the bottom lane.
Yeah.
This is what he can and should do. I think rather than trying to kill a Queen of Pain that is like very low chance, he should just try to feed on this support, this Nyx and AA, even potentially Tidehunter. He can try to kill these three heroes. Because CK, he can usually use the Reality Rift in some nearby creep and get out, or even Phantasm and just turn and kill him.
Yeah.
But these three other kills, I think, is what Clockwork should focus on.
Oh, for now. First hookshot, of course, already used. Also starting to stack up some Ancients for the Medusa later. You know, they're gonna go in mid as well. Again, Shining though drops down the ultimate. Viper will end up falling. They also make the rotation from the Chaos Knight. So Doom in the area, but unable to help out his buddy. In fact, he might just straight up die himself. Clockwork also showing up on a blink across there from Shining. Wants to try and secure this kill. Scorchurf does not make this easy. Now the Shackle's coming through. Immediate cancel. Nice little double stun from Bridge. And Queen of Pain still just barely alive. One stick charge to work with. That'll fuel up enough mana for another blink once it comes off cooldown. Or perhaps TP for now. Another set of shackles onto the next assassin. A bit of trouble himself. Does have stick charges to work with. Another stun, but a battery assault actually not going right now. Has to force out another hook shot, and that's probably the best situation here. Or the best way to go out in this situation, I should say.
It was really amazing though. Rams on the CK actually managed to survive that. I thought he was so dead, but he managed to toggle creep aggro from the tower and managed to just run out because he was one tower hit away from dying. And the queen survived too.
Yeah. Trying to go again onto the Doom.
Rams gets a double crit.
One, another Reality Rift. That'll be enough. Oh, magical. Trying to shackle in the tower, but there's more reinforcements. Queen of Pain zipping in, even without the ultimate, and this is kind of catch-up that she really needs, honestly. If you look at the net worth, she's still 1,000, not 1,000, only 500 gold now because of these kills behind the Viper.
And this is what you need to do as a queen when you meet something like a Viper and you lost the lane. You need to use the mobility you have to actually like make stuff happen around the map. And Shinmif or something is making a good job at it right now.
Call him Shinem.
Yeah, shine him. That sounds good. Sounds a lot better than what I said.
Shinin. Or maybe Shiny MF.
Dyer's bottom tower.
But that M does not capitalize as well, so it's like, it's a bit odd.
Shine him. Let's go with shine him.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice, friendly name.
Yeah.
Right. Smoked up magical together with Jiaoshi. And they will run into the Ancient Apparition. Does have the Ice Blast coming through. The Doom on the Chaos Knight though. That's a big target that they want. The hookshot also does manage to connect. Now let's secure that kill eventually. A couple extra right clicks here. Now the Queen of Pain. CK sets him up, Quap knocking her down. Now a couple extra right clicks towards Magical. Does throw out another set of shackles immediately cancelled by Brush, and even the Serpent Walls committed here. Can be farmed up by the Quap.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
That was,
well, he just keeps denying them.
Structures are fortified.
But yeah, they get the CK. That's a big kill right now. CK is kind of snowballing, a bit scared right now. However, meanwhile, during all this, Medusa is just casually farming away. Viper is pressuring their tower, so I don't think Viking is necessarily sad about how this game is going at all right now. This Medusa is getting fast, very fast.
Going Viper mid. Ice Blast has connected, but it's already on retreat. Rams unable to get the reality rift in. Actually, Vision, there it is, actually finds him. Couple of extra right clicks. Ice Blast has expired though, but well, the extra Phantasm Illusion is still enough damage, but will he survive this? Looks like only just. After the damage, what time has expired, has Arnold talked his way across. It's a little bit of a dangerous situation here right now on the wrong side of the map. Nice little stun there from Nyx Assassin, scouting out what's happening with Nano Ravage. They want to fight more here, stun into the clockwork. They're focusing on him, couple extra right clicks, but Arnold's not working out so far. Both of them end up dropping. Now Queen of Pain though taking over, couple extra right clicks. Magical keeps himself alive with a stick, and that's a very fast sheep there. Haystune helping out, another double stun there from the Nyx. Extra screams of pain, couple of right clicks. Titans are being the big guy in the front, but not big enough. They'll lose another, it's Bridge Pierce, so no more stuns. The Ancient's almost killing off the Titans, but Shine him. He just doesn't want to stop. Snacks himself up another one.
Oh god,
go down, no, 1v1 up it. Oh, that was never gonna work. What the hell?
I think he was feeling overzealous there.
Yeah.
I guess it did look like Medusa was low, but she had basically half mana, so...
Yeah. Or close to full mana and 3 points up in mana shield at the time, so it's not an easy kill by any means. Well, I'm not sure who won that fight. Probably the Vikings, right? With Medusa surviving.
I mean, yeah, the bad thing... I think the fight overall was kind of even, but the thing is... Rams on CK died, Queen died, Medusa did live, so she just keeps growing bigger and bigger. And once again, this is Medusa hero, who at one point she just gets so big and no one can deal with her.
Yeah.
That is a big thing right now for Vikings, and Barracx need to... They can't let this slip away anymore, I think.
His face boots Mask of Man is going for the Hurricane Pike. So, a bit of extra utility. Bit of defense up against the Chaos Knight, perhaps, just pushing him away if he tries to bring him down. But yeah, I mean, if you look at just at the network distribution, 8.6k already. We're not even 50 minutes into the game, and the highest farmer is not even hitting, didn't even hit 6k just yet.
Yeah, that's
a
like
huge discrepancy.
Yeah, she's becoming really big, and they just keep stacking Ancient, and she just keeps doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean, that I think Barracx is somewhat on a timer here. Not necessarily a huge timer, but they need to worry about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And they're bringing a tier 1 top.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.